Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We had previously notified you that EWU Media LLC filed a public records request lawsuit in Latah County, Idaho, against the City of Moscow and the Moscow Police Department, alleging that both wrongfully withheld information sought in the petitioners, that's EWU Media's public records request for items from the Moscow Police Department's investigatory files into the crimes that occurred at 1122 King Road. Also involved in the lawsuit are the plaintiffs from last year's Laramie et al. Versus City of Moscow lawsuit that sought an injunction and that obtained it, that enjoined the City of Moscow from producing certain documents from the Moscow Police Department's investigatory files. Karen Laramie and Stacy James and Maisie Chapin were the plaintiffs in last year's action, successfully obtaining that injunction. They have also obtained intervener status in the EWU lawsuit, meaning the court found that although they're not parties, they have a right to be heard. They have an interest in the matter. There was a scheduling order that Judge Marshall issued back on the 13th of March that required the filing of certain papers at certain time points in advance of the current May 18th, 2026 oral argument that Judge Marshall will hold. One of the matters that EWU filed includes a declaration from a representative of EWU describing what their public records request sought. And the 2 pages of one of the public records requests is on our sister YouTube channel. Follow the link in the description to this podcast episode, and you can read it for yourself. It identifies EWU Media's name, their email address, their location in Nevada, and then it goes into, on page 2 of this documentation, what they were looking for in the public records request that was filed in 2025. This document states: name, Brian Kohberger. Incident, the unalivings of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin. Date of incident, around 4:17 a.m. on November 13th, 2022. Arrested December 30th, 2022. Location, Moscow, Idaho. Arrested, Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Address for the 911 call that they're asking for here, 1122 King Road. Time of the 911 call, 11:58 a.m., 8 hours after the unalivings. And again, this is taken from the information that EWU produced last year in their public records request. Now, getting into the specifics of what they were requesting in this particular public records request, requesting all interrogation footage filmed in relation to the case in video format, and then in parentheses, in audio if the interview was not filmed, end of parentheses. All interview footage filmed in relation to the case in video format, and then in parentheses, in audio if the interview was not filmed, end of parentheses. All witness interviews related to the case in video format, and then in parentheses, audio if the interview was not filmed, end of parentheses. Crime scene photos, crime scene videos, evidence photos, evidence videos, all 911 calls recorded in relation to the case in audio format, police reports, all body camera footage recorded in relation to the case in video format, all dash camera footage filmed in relation to the case in video format, all CCTV surveillance footage related to the case in video format, all video recordings and audio recordings related to the case and all phone evidence related to the case. And then there's a second paragraph here. I confirm that this request for public records is being made for non-commercial purposes and is intended to serve the public interest. As a news agency, EWU Media LLC seeks to inform and educate the public about government accountability and transparency. The requested records will be used to produce educational and journalistic content shared on platforms such as YouTube and Facebook, which serve as modern forums for public discourse. While these platforms may be monetized, the primary purpose of the request is to benefit the public by providing access to critical information. I would request a prompt response to this request. If you expect a significant delay in responding to or in fulfilling this request, please contact me with information about when I might expect copies or the ability to impact the requested records. If you deny any or all of this request, please cite each specific exemption you feel justifies the refusal to release the information and notify me of the appeal procedures available to me under the law. And again, this is a public records request which was submitted by EWU Media in 2025 regarding Idaho v. Kohberger. In my opinion, they are asking for the Pennsylvania interrogation video because that's where Mr. Kohberger was interrogated by Detective Brett Payne and a representative of the Idaho State Police who assisted the Moscow Police Department with the investigation into these crimes. Recall, the Moscow Police Department was the lead agency with the jurisdiction to investigate these crimes. Other agencies, including the Pennsylvania State Police, were invited in by the Moscow Police Department to assist them, for example, apprehending Mr. Kohberger in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, as he was December 30th, 2022. Mr. Kohberger was arrested for no alleged crime in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They're asking also for audio. Recall that there was a video and then a separate audio recording that the Idaho State Police detective who accompanied Detective Brett Payne and was in the interview room and questioned Mr. Kohberger recorded separately from the video equipment that was in that Pennsylvania State Police barracks where this interrogation occurred. In addition, they're asking for various other recordings, body cam, interviews of any witnesses. They're wanting 911 calls, plural, and other information. We will continue to keep you posted regarding the documents filed in compliance with Judge Marshall's scheduling order in advance of the forthcoming May 18th, 2026 hearing on this matter. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.